I sat at the far end of the table, the words hitting me like a punch, but I kept my face steady. I gave my mom a subtle nod and moved past the long dining table, decorated with glowing candles, neatly arranged silverware and sparkling wine glasses, to the least desirable seat by the kitchen door. I wasn't expecting a warm reception anyway. It was my brother Ethan's birthday, and I was far from the family's shining star. Before we dive in, drop a comment below and let us know where you're from and which city you're tuning in from. After reading this story, share what you'd do in this situation. Be real, we read every comment. Let's get started. You're lucky we even let you come, my sister-in-law Lauren muttered as I walked by. Don't cause a scene this time. I hadn't even said a word. Everyone looked sharp and wealthy in their custom-tailored clothes, seated beneath a chandelier that gleamed like a palace fixture. Ethan, the family's golden child, sat at the head of the table with his cocky smile and flashy designer watch, making sure everyone noticed it. His wife raised her glass. To Ethan, the most accomplished man in the family. Laughter filled the room, but I stayed silent, staring at my water glass, my faint reflection wavering in it. I wore a simple navy dress I'd picked up at a thrift store. My hands were calloused from long shifts at the warehouse and late-night cleaning jobs. I didn't fit in this room, and they made sure I felt it every moment. Then Grandpa cleared his throat. The room fell silent. Even Lauren paused mid-sip of her overpriced wine. Grandpa Henry wasn't just respected, he was intimidating. At 83, his eyes were sharp as knives, and his cane delivered judgments harsher than any gavel. He turned his head slowly, locking eyes with me from across the table. "Emma," he said, his voice steady but carrying through the room, "is the $5,000 I send you every month enough?" My stomach sank. The air felt heavy. My fork froze in midair. "W what money?" I stammered. Dead silence, raw, suffocating silence. My mom's fork slipped, clattering against her plate and hitting the floor. Even Ethan's smug look faltered, his brows knitting, jaw tensing. But Grandpa, his eyes narrowed like he'd just confirmed a suspicion. With a deliberate motion, he slammed his cane on the marble floor. Thud, the chandelier flickered slightly. He rose slowly, effort in his movements but authority radiating from him. "That's what I figured." All eyes turned to my mom, her face drained of color. "I've been sending $5,000 to your account for over 2 years, Emma," Grandpa said. "Every month like clockwork, I thought it was helping you." I opened my mouth, but no words came. I never got a single cent," I managed, my voice breaking. The silence turned from tense to lethal. Grandpa's gaze shifted to my dad. "Richard, Marilyn, care to explain?" My dad's face turned crimson. We used it to support Ethan's business. You said you wanted to help the family. We thought." Grandpa cut him off. "You thought you'd steal from your own daughter, use my money and lie about it." My mom's hands shook. "Henry, we were going to tell you. We meant to." Grandpa's laugh was sharp and bitter, draining the room of warmth. "Meant to?" He pointed his cane at them. "You told me for years Emma didn't need help, that she was too stubborn to take my money, that she refused charity, and all along you were funneling it to Ethan's account." Ethan stood. "Grandpa, I didn't know, I swear." "Sit down." Grandpa's voice boomed. Ethan sat. My eyes stung, but I refused to cry. "Not here." I stood slowly. "You told Grandpa I didn't want his money." I looked at my mom. "You told him I didn't need help." Her voice wavered. "It wasn't like that, Emma." "How many times did I beg you for help with rent?" My voice trembled. "How many times did I say I was eating instant noodles for weeks?" She looked away. "My dad started, Emma. We did it for the family, for Ethan." "For Ethan," I echoed. "Always for Ethan." My nails bit into my palms. "I worked myself to the bone, took night shifts, cleaned offices, ate cheap gas station food, and you were pocketing $5,000 a month while you watched me struggle." I turned to Grandpa. "You want to know the worst part? I still came tonight, hoping maybe, just maybe, I'd be treated like a daughter, a sister." Grandpa's face was unyielding. He addressed the table. "If anyone here thinks what they did was okay, you're as guilty as they are." Then he reached into his coat, pulled out a folded envelope, and held it out to me. "Emma, take this." I hesitated, then walked over. Inside was a bank transfer confirmation, a new account in my name. "I've just wired you $120,000, he said. "That's all the money they took, plus extra." Gasps rippled through the room. "And tomorrow," he continued, glaring at my parents, "I'm calling my lawyer. You're both out of my will. Ethan, too." Ethan shot up. "Grandpa, no. You can't." "I can, and I did," Grandpa snapped. He looked at me. "Emma, want to switch seats, or better yet, take the head of the table?" I didn't respond. I didn't need to. For the first time in this family's twisted history, I wasn't the outcast. I was the turning point. I didn't take the head seat, not that night. I grabbed my purse and left the dining room without touching the fancy steak they'd served. I didn't need a crown, what I needed was air. Outside, the cold hit me hard. I stood on the porch staring at the dark trees swaying in the night, my hands trembling. Was it anger, grief, or shock? Probably all three. Behind me, the door creaked and footsteps approached. Grandpa's voice followed. "You handled that better than I thought." I turned slightly. "Better than I thought." He stepped beside me, slower now, the fire that fueled him fading. "They've always underestimated you, Emma, even when you were a kid." I stayed quiet, then asked, "Why didn't you ever call me? Check if I was okay?" Guilt weighed heavy in his eyes. "Because I trusted them, I'm sorry for that." Truly, I nodded, swallowing hard. "I don't need their pity anymore." "No," he agreed. "You need justice, and you'll get it." 2 days later, his lawyer called. Grandpa had already revised his will. The envelope was just the start. Ethan, my parents, they were cut out. Everything, the lake house, the business shares, the trust, was now mine. Calls started coming. My mom left voicemails, sobbing. "Emma, please, we didn't mean for it to go this far. Can we talk?" My dad, "You're destroying this family over money." Ethan didn't bother with tears. His text read, "You'll regret this. Enjoy being alone," but I wasn't alone. As the truth spread, people talked. Aunt Clara called, admitting she'd always wondered why I looked so worn out. Uncle Mark confessed they were told I had mental health issues, too unstable for money. They'd lied to everyone to control the story, and I'd let them, until now. A week later, I walked into a small law firm downtown, in jeans and a sweater, hair pulled back, no makeup. Grandpa had arranged it all. An office, a business in my name, Emma Henry Financial Services. He didn't just give me money, he gave me a future. I'd build it with or without that toxic family. The backlash came fast. Lauren posted a cryptic Instagram story, sipping wine with friends, captioning it, "Some people don't deserve forgiveness. Entitlement is ugly." She didn't name me, but everyone knew. Then Ethan did a podcast saying, "Sometimes you give money to the wrong people and they think they've earned it. It's sad." I didn't bite. I poured my energy into building what Grandpa gave me. I was at the office by 7 a.m., a small space with 2 rooms and a front desk, but it was mine. I met clients, took business courses, and learned to manage money like Grandpa once did. I didn't use his name publicly. I wanted this to be mine, not a handout. Grandpa didn't stay quiet either. He told every friend, investor, and partner what happened. It worked. Ethan's startup lost 3 major clients in 2 weeks. My dad was quietly removed from a nonprofit board he'd led for years. My mom stopped showing up at her social club. Still, no apologies. One night, months after that dinner, a knock came at my apartment. Through the peephole, I saw Ethan, disheveled, eyes heavy. I cracked the door. "What do you want?" He shoved his hands in his pockets. "I messed up." I said nothing. I didn't know about the money. I didn't know they were lying to Grandpa. "Then why mock me every year for not having a real job?" I asked. "Why call me a failure, a leech?" He didn't answer. He didn't need to. I started closing the door, but he stopped it. "Emma, please tell Grandpa to fix the will or at least split it. I'm your brother." I met his eyes. "No, you're the guy who laughed while I suffered." I shut the door firmly. That night, alone at my kitchen table, tears welled up, not from sadness, but from power. I wasn't helpless anymore. A month later, a dusty box appeared outside my office. No name, no note. Inside were old family photos, hundreds of them. Albums I hadn't seen since childhood. Me and Ethan at the playground, me helping Mom cook, my tiny hand in Grandpa's when I was 6. At the bottom, a letter from Grandpa. "Emma, these are yours. They tried to erase your place in this family, but I never forgot who you are. Keep them. Frame the ones you love. And always remember, your roots run deeper than their lies." I cried not for the past, but because someone finally saw me. That week, I spoke at a local women's business conference, recommended by one of Grandpa's old friends. My reputation in financial advising was growing. On stage in a navy blazer facing 200 women, I shared my story, the raw version. "I wasn't born poor," I said. "I was made poor by a family that decided I wasn't worth their investment." Gasps, murmurs. When I begged for help, they called me dramatic, lazy, worthless, while cashing checks meant for me. The applause when I finished shook the room. Backstage, a woman approached, tears in her eyes. "My daughter went through the same thing. Your story means everything to her." I smiled, took her hands. "Tell your daughter this, she's not broken, they are." Walking home, I passed the restaurant where Ethan and Lauren once celebrated their anniversary, their faces once framed in the window. Now that frame was gone, replaced by a for lease sign. Another business lost. My phone buzzed. A text from Grandpa. They're finally seeing who the real legacy is. Kid, proud of you. I wasn't chasing approval or revenge anymore. I was becoming me. 3 months later, I stood outside my childhood home, not to visit, not to plead, but to buy it. After Grandpa cut them off, my parents tried everything. Remortgaging, selling furniture, quietly listing the house. The listing reached Grandpa, then me. I don't want to live there, I told him. He nodded. Then own it anyway. So I did. I signed the papers with steady hands. Full cash offer, no haggling. The realtor, a woman with sharp glasses, smiled awkwardly. Your parents need to be out by next Friday. Give them until Monday, I said. I never stepped inside. The house had seen enough of my pain. Instead, I focused on my life. My office grew. I hired 2 women, both survivors of family betrayal, and we weren't just a business, we were a fresh start. One rainy Friday, a handwritten letter arrived from my mom. Emma, I know you have every reason to hate me. I failed you. We failed you. I let pride blind me. I told myself you didn't need help so I could sleep at night. I see now I was cruel. You didn't deserve this. I won't ask for forgiveness, but I hope you find peace. Mom, I reread it, feeling no victory, just release. I didn't call her or tear it up. I folded it, placed it with Grandpa's letter and photos, and closed the drawer. That's where it belonged, the past. The next week, Grandpa hosted a small gathering at his home, just friends, jazz, and lemonade. By the fireplace, he pulled me aside. When I learned they stole from you, I blamed myself most. Why? I asked. Because I gave them the means to hurt you. I took a deep breath. You also gave me the tools to rise above it. He chuckled, handing me a worn leather book. What's this? My first business ledger, he said. I want you to have it. I flipped through yellowed pages, faded ink, his handwritten numbers. You built everything from this? I did, he said. And you'll build more. I hugged him, feeling what family was supposed to be, safe, solid, real. A year after that dinner, I stood backstage at a National Women in Finance conference. Over 2,000 attendees, cameras, lights. When my name was called, I stepped into the spotlight unafraid. I wasn't just someone given a second chance. I'd created one for myself and others. In the front row, Grandpa gave a small nod. That dinner meant to break me. It sparked my rise.